Hey everyone, how's it going? Um, we were trying to get the live going on the California Alliance page, but unfortunately we don't have 1,000 followers yet. So if you're not, let me try to get some of the people on here real quick that we're going to be talking with today. Just send some invites. Do, do, do. All right, so I should have invited everyone, I think. Let's see. How's everyone doing? Sam, accept the invite. I just waved it or sent it over to you. Let's see. Okay. Once. All right. Just sent the link to the invitees. Trying to get them on. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties here. Let's see. Oh, there goes Sam. What's up, Sam? How's it
Hey,
going?
I'm doing good.
Trying to get
Mm,
Yessie and Angel on real quick. Just sent him another invite.
uh
We'll
Let me
see if
see.
this works. Yeah. I gave Yessie a link right now. She should be able to join through
Mm,
that too. Well, showing my age, huh? Showing my age.
Yeah, that's I know, but no, that's good. I was uh, yeah, we're trying to figure this out. I am a through a back channel, no, actually through WhatsApp, just keeping an eye on Jessie here. And so I think so Jessie is
Yeah,
also
I just
watching this video.
accepted her request. Says she's unable to join. Let's see.
And for everyone that
Oh,
is
there she
joining,
goes.
thanks everyone.
Finally
Also,
got her on.
yeah, look at that.
Hello.
Hey, look at that, Jesse. You're
Hey.
here.
Hello. Are you listening?
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're hearing you. How you doing?
Oh, I'm very well. And you?
Look at that. It's good to see the gang here remotely. Ay, look at that. Hola, ¿cómo
Hello.
estás?
Hello,
Carlos in the chat.
Carlos.
I know, Carlos. Good seeing you. I know. So a lot of these, we are everywhere. Davies uh, joining us from the Republic of Texcoco, the
Yeah, I
capital of
know.
no, I should not say that it is the capital of pulque, but 'cause I think people from Hidalgo may feel bad, but definitely one of the capitals of pulque, Texcoco. And then on your case, Steve, close to Lancaster, right?
Yeah, we're in High Vista, which is as far east as or northeast as you can be in Los Angeles County. It's like the last city.
I know,
But
and
it's how I like it, right? I mean, you guys have been here. It's really peaceful and remote. So
and it is the high desert. If something works there, that is
yeah,
it.
that was a lot of the reasoning with trying to farm here too,
Hmm.
because we have land in a lot of different places, but I was like, I'm gonna go for the hardest one first, because if I can make stuff work there, we'll
Oh
easily
yeah.
make it work in other areas.
And Steve, I do know that. I saw some of the pictures and some of the recent videos that you posted. Once again, the that picture of your um, open nursery of your almacigo out there, just bringing a lot of the plants. So I think that's great. I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone has a for reference. How many inches of rain do you receive in a year? 4 inches,
If
six
it's a good
inches?
year, nah, even less. Probably two, 2.5 in a good year. Most years we're probably getting a little less than that. But even with that, you could still grow a good amount of plants. It just they have to be extremely strong plants. But that's why I tell people, um, if stuff works here, usually I'm shipping it to different states, and it has no problem in functioning in other places because there's not too many places that are harsher than here that people are trying to grow the crops, right?
Oh yeah, and then the other part that I'm seeing is so if so when you have all those plants, they are very dry land, rain fed proof, and so that is something that I don't think
Yeah,
that many people realize. But basically, plants coming out of your shop is are really very
yeah, I'm
uh,
seeing that because 90% of the cactus I grow and 75% of it is USA natives or California natives.
correct.
So, all of that stuff growing here, it really gets accustomed to like, I don't water it or I don't fertilize much.
Hmm.
And after a while, when I take it to different areas like Northern California where they may receive 20 inches of rain, like it just goes nuts.
Hmm.
So that's the cool part, seeing how all the plants grow in all the different places.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know
Only
we're seeing a
try
lot of our
to
people
say
here.
hello our the people. I
Eh,
think that maybe Angel is not possible that
Yeah,
stay
it
in
keeps saying
this.
he's unable to join. Uh,
Yeah,
what does it show on his side?
yeah. I don't know, but he has some troubles with the connection.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
if the
think
connection's not the best, it sometimes will just not allow him to join.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, one thing. So I mean, there are many things that we would like to discuss in this live. And let me see if I can do a trick here. But one of the things that I mean, we have the
What we
uh,
could do too, if ask him if he wants to like hop on maybe a call with us so that we could be speaking to him. But if
oh
he's
yeah.
unable to join, yeah.
Let
But
me
what were
actually.
you saying? Sorry, Sam.
No. I was telling you that. So we have the in terms of the topics, we can do the professional course, the professional development course on agaves. We have here Carlos has been joining us. So that is one. The other one that is really important is the uh, field work, but more than field work, the plantation that we did in Madera Community College.
Yeah.
My friend Jesse, Steve, all the ones listening, we have pictures of all of us, of Jesse and I, planting agaves, carrying agaves under the sun. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, that was, yeah,
At this time too to be planting, it's hot out here.
oof, I know. Like, so
yeah.
we finished what time? 11:30. Yeah, I mean, I mean, so if you can see here, like, this is super white. Like, look.
Yeah. And the wonderful part is that we have a lot of volunteers, like for example Carlos,
Hmm.
Oh
and that
yeah.
was amazing because we have a lot of people that make that plantation has possible, because
it's a
that
community
was
effort.
amazing. Yeah, the community, the 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 wish that to learn more about how to plant this plant, how to care, and that is wonderful. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is very, very, very important. We have some pics of the people that working with us that day. That was wonderful. Yeah, but that is very sad that today we don't
Or
have the
Sam,
opportunity to talk with
what I was
Angel.
gonna say is you could invite him on a Zoom. I mean, I'm sure he'll be able to connect to that if
Oh, I can
right,
do
because
that.
education. Because I saw you got the computer right there. Sorry to cut you off, Yes.
No. That's good. Let me actually go to
Yeah. But
ah.
yeah, I agree. It's the agave. How we treat it in Mexico is very much a community effort. Everybody comes out to do the planting, the harvesting, and it's cool to see that. In California as well, right? When people are planting at the college, a lot of people want to be involved, and you never know which one of those might want to get into the agave industry as well.
Well, and actually in that picture you saw
Hayden
that.
here.
Oh
Tell
yeah,
us more about the Fucreas alongside
Yeah,
Agave.
I
Yeah, I mean
went.
Hayden there is a really smart guy working over there on Agave in Brazil. But Fucrea is a really interesting plant that for a long time I thought it was an agave actually. I thought it was like some type of Agave cislana or something. But then, the more I learned about plants, I realized it was a different type of genus, but it was still actually within the Agaveaceae family. So, I already had worked and utilized like Hespero yucca, a lot of stuff in the agave family that wasn't agave, and I knew that you can distill it or get the similar byproducts. But Fucrea, we got a bunch of it out of the garden, and I realized it could be a really good crop for California alongside agave, and it kind of does, a lot of the stuff that agave, people are trying to breed it to be like spineless or quicker growing or more sugars, and Fucrea already you could say is a plant that has all those qualities. So I think it's a plant that just needs to be explored more too, right? Like I have sotoles growing here, like Dacilarions and yuccas and Hespero yuccas and Fucrea. I think a lot of these crops have, utility value. Agave is, one of the ones I'm exploring, but growing it alongside agave is, I treat it pretty much like agave and cactus. It gets pretty similar pests and diseases, or, the management is pretty similar.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's very similar. Yeah, we have a lot of opportunity with these kinds of plants, and we can cultivate in very thin soils without water or minimal water, and we can
Yeah.
obtain different valuable products. And I did that. We need to explore more about that kind of plants. It's amazing.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of good ones. Fucrea is just a real interesting genus as well, like agave.
yeah. Oh,
So I know. So I was showing this. I look. You can see Jesse here, and all the different. How many? Do you remember, Jesse? How many varieties we have? We have
yes, we
16.
have
No, 19,
20,
right?
20
20.
varieties. Yeah, 20
Nice.
varieties in 5 acres.
That's a lot of
And yeah,
diversity.
we
Oh
have
yeah.
some varieties like Agave salmiana, like Agave angustifolia, Agave mapizaga. We have two Agave americana, subspecies protoamericana. We have
Nice.
some agaves durangenses. We have some agave Weberi. We have some Vivocornuta. Yeah, we have here a lot of biodiversity. That is the main idea of this project, because one of the principal goals of this project is to know what is the development of this plant in this characteristic of soil, water, and all the agroclimatic conditions that we have here. And the other one is, we need to know exactly what is the amount of water that we need for every species. And the principal challenge that we have here is the manage of the rotors, of the gophers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is the principal problem that we have actually. Yeah, and the principal goal is try to manage in agricultural and regenerative practice, because that is the main idea, that we can work and collaborate with the ecosystem with minimal intervention. And that is that piece is very important, because other part that is very important is the collaboration with the community. And in this picture we have some of the volunteers. One of them is Ricardo Lucero. He took the first professional agave training with Sam and me. Yeah, and it's one of the most important person in this project, because he prepared all the land for planting these wonderful agaves.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So you can see here, let me see.
What's that there? They're like treating it before they plant?
Jesse.
Yeah,
So basically this is the disinfection.
exactly.
Yeah. And then here we are, well, that is Jessie filling some of her water bottle. Then
Yeah.
all the different plants, every plant that you're seeing here is the one that we just planted. You're gonna see all the way down there, that is Angel Reina in front of it. Also the president of Madera Community College planting agaves right in front there. You can see all the other volunteers. Yeah, everyone was super busy. Yeah, see, just checking if the plans were right. Um, Let me see this one. I think that is the same. Oh, wait. Oh, there you go. Yeah, they are. These are all the different varieties that we just planted. And here you can see some Sierra Negra, Mapizaga, Tequiliana, Webery. Uh,
Weavery.
yeah, we have a bunch of them. Americana, Castilla, yeah,
Nice. Yeah, those are
Oaxacensis.
good
Yeah, I
ones.
know. Oh man, you can see.
We have
I
a lot
know.
That's
of
crazy.
clase espina.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the plantation frame that we designed for this project is very important, because, for example, you know that we have different varieties in different microclimates,
Yeah.
and the principal intention from this planting frame is that in the middle of the land, we plant the less resilient agaves,
Yeah.
like for example, agave tequilana, agave espadín, agave. Like for example, some plants are new for this soil, and we need to monitor what is the development of this plant. And for that reasons, like for example, agave bovicornuta, oaxacensis, uh,
No,
colorata.
it's a smart plan. I do something similar here on the farm. You know, you have to see where to put each type of agave or each type of plant. Like I do something similar where I put a lot of agave americana on the outskirts because I know that the gophers, once those are large enough, they kind of ignore a lot of them. But, agaves like angustafolias that are going to be, a lot sweeter at a much younger age, I'll place
Mm-hmm.
them closer to where, my animals are, or my dogs, or areas that are going to be more frequented by me, because I know the gophers are going to want something sweeter. They're not
Mm-hmm.
going after a gigantic agave. They want something that's easy, So usually it's like
Yeah.
agaves in their first like 2 years,
Yeah.
if it usually makes it past that, it can withstand a lot of damage. But not to say they won't take out a large agave. I've seen it happen, but it's rare.
Yeah, I know. And the other important concept that we introduce in this project is that we try that the most resilient plant protect the less resilient plant. For
Mm-hmm.
example, in the principal rows in the beginning of the rows, we plant the more resilient plant like salmiana, grasispina, mapizaga,
Mm-hmm.
durangensis, deserti, and because we need to protect the other ones. And the other is that we plant hedgerows in the
Mm-hmm.
first
Yeah,
places. We need to plant other varieties, other plants that are attracted for the animals. That is the
yeah,
intention and the pollinators. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
yeah. That's the
Uh,
way to do it. The agave too. If they're gonna be much stronger on the outskirts, how you're planting them, and then the weaker ones on the inside. It's also going to give them like, some type of shade and wind, help as well. Because a lot of the times, the winds are the ones that are drying out a lot of these agave.
mm-hmm.
And then, if it's not able to come in so much into the field, and the weaker agaves are in the center portion, they're going to have a better chance to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've definitely noticed that like a good windstorm could take out a good amount of agaves, that are like soft leaf, like for instance, a Atenuada, a Tequiliana.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then yeah,
The
yeah,
other part, Steve, that Jesse's mentioning all the hedgerows. So
hmm
in the first part of the plantation, you may think it was more like it wasn't a square; it was more like a trapezoid.
mhm,
yeah,
But in the lower corner of the trapezoid, Jesse thought about planting some of the um, hedgerows. What was that? We had mint. We had rosemary.
rosemary, coffee berry, blue elderberry, that is a
Oh yeah.
natural plant from California. And we have other, for example, I don't know that is the name in English, but for example, in Mexico, we have ruda,
Ah
rue.
yeah.
romero,
Yeah, it's
ruda,
called rue in
romero,
English. It's a good
yeah,
one too
Oh.
for animals. Yeah.
for the
My,
animal.
Yeah, my version of that's been cactus. Like I've noticed that the animals are much going to prefer a young cactus to any type of agave. So if I can plant cactus close enough to any of my agave or fucrea or even dacilarions, a lot of the rodents like the young ones.
Mm-hmm.
The cactus might get eaten 50, even 80% by these predators, but they'll pretty much avoid, the agave or the susceptible plants in the area. So, giving the native wildlife something to eat instead of your plant is definitely a great option for keeping your agaves alive. Because a lot of the times, if you remove, your native ecosystem and plants, then that's why you're having so much pressure on a field, because they don't really have anything to eat anymore.
Yeah, exactly. These buffer zones or hedgerows are very important, not only in the agave cultivation. It's important to incorporate this kind of buffer zones because with this practice, we avoid the pest and disease in the crop. And it's
Yeah.
very cheaper. It's very cheaper. Is totally manageable. It's total organic, and it's very easy. You know, it's something like you can incorporate these natural plants in your crop in order that you avoid and you control the incidents or the pest and disease problems. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it
I've definitely seen that on my own farm, like there's crops that may get a disease, for instance, but in a field there might be, 40 different agave and 40 different cactus. So it's very difficult for it to go down the row or to, crisscross, through that field to get to different plants. So for instance, if you have, in this one field that got agave weevil, I had four different type of agave americanas, and two of them became susceptible,
Mm-hmm.
but only when they were right up against each other. So by breaking it up with cactus, trees, shrubs that were native, it wasn't spreading even to the same type of species, right? But if it was the same species right up against each other without a break, then it was passing. But it wouldn't ever pass, outside of that species, say to a third or fourth species that wasn't Americana because there was so much of plant breaks. So a lot of the times too, that could be helpful actually, because if you have a lot of plant diversity, you start to see which ones are going to be the most susceptible, and you kind of put those more to the side and propagate other types that are going to have more resistance. Because
And
there's a lot of agave in that same field that right up against an agave that was infected never got anything. So there's different resistances among all the species to different pests. So depending
correct.
on what you might have in a certain region, it might be beneficial to really go on diversity, because if your whole field is a monoculture, as soon as an agave weevil comes in, it has the potential to basically take over that whole field once it learns how to destroy that first agave.
And Jesse, correct me, but I mean, the hedgerows or a lot of the plants, they were put it in this kind of corner, right?
yeah, exactly.
And then more of the resilient one was kind of a perimeter of the trapezoid. And it was Salmiana. What other one we have?
We have Salmiana durangensis, Mapizaga, Crasispina, Protamericana, Montana,
Mm-hmm.
and Cupriata, Bovicornuta, Castilla.
But in here in the
And Bowie
perimeter,
cornuta
No,
is Javali. That's what most people know it as.
Javali.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
And
No,
then in the middle we have the less resilient, right?
yeah, exactly. The less resilient, like
Tequiliana,
Tequilana,
Angustifolia.
Angustifolia, Potatorum,
And
Potatorum inakidens, and the other one is Agave Weberi. That is the first time that I plant Agave Weberi, but I know that is very frost tolerant.
and just to be
Yeah,
clear,
it's
so
super strong.
unfortunately the Tequiliana Angustifolia, which is for tequila, and this is ahí for mezcal, pero ¿cómo se llama? They don't say Angustifolia. Um,
Which one? Oh, Espadín. Yeah, they're gonna say
Espadín.
Espadín. Yeah.
Entonces este es Espadín, ¿no? So the problem is that the most common and the one that people really want are the ones that are less resilient. So Espadín
Yeah.
or Tequilana. And then you have Salmiana, Duranguensis, Mapizaga. Well, how do you call Mapizaga? Ándale, Espadín, gracias, Carlos. Mapizaga, Montana, Cupreata. Some of those that actually, Mezcal Cupreata, I think actually that one comes like that. Anyway, but I wanted to just to share that. Yeah, this was kind of the big overall layout, right, Jesse? We lost Jesse.
Might have timed out.
Oh yeah,
There she
there you
goes.
go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but basically that was the the layout. I actually, let me see if I can find, because we have here Carlos El Güero, and basically he had a really nice video also where he was actually showing the process that we have. So let me see. Oh, there you go. We have it. Follow. But let me see. I think it was this. Up. Yeah, he put this video with all the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice. Shout out to El Güero that. Yeah, see, look at that. All the different species. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see how they all do in that area because that school is located like in a region that pretty much like represents the farmers or the largest farming region in California. So if they can grow all these species at that school, you know, it's going to inspire a lot of farmers in the Central Valley to want to
One.
try all these different species.
So one other thing, Steve, that Angel don't want to speak on behalf of him, but basically he's thinking of having all these different species, 20 species, and basically he wants to bear the risk, to get the risk of having them successfully planted and grown, or have them unsuccessfully planted and not grown.
Yeah,
And basically what he's saying is like, well, let's actually, we'll take the risk. I always also was mentioning that what we are doing, or what he's doing there, is basically, I know that all the people know the scientists and they respect, are aware of what we do. But also, we're saying that, for instance, Tequilana is not gonna be doing well. When people go to this field and actually see the tequilanas and they compare it with others, are is not doing that good.
yeah,
I know they trust our word, but also they can trust their eyes and go in there
yeah.
and
They're gonna
actually
see it
see it
for
with their.
themselves. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's the thing. It's like I'm from Jalisco, and we grow a lot of tequiliana in my family. So like that was the first crop I tried out here, and sometimes I feel like people think I'm like hating on the crop, but it's like I tried thousands of them, and none of them worked here. So I could confidently say in this area, it's going to be extremely difficult to start a tequiliana. And what you eventually reach is a point where you realize you can make any plant grow. You can put greenhouses, you can put shade tarps, you can put all types of stuff. But there's tons of agave that don't require any of that from me. They're never going to require me to shade or frost tarp or irrigate or fertilize and in the end, I tell people, okay, maybe Tequiliana RS budding might come out quicker for you, but you're going to spend 10 times the water resources. You're going to be fertilizing. You're going to be incurring all of these resource costs for 7 years. Maybe if you get lucky, 5. That's a
Mm-hmm.
difficult proposition, because some of these water bills ain't cheap for these farms, and to be going so much into debt before you see a potential of a profit's a tough bargain for people. Whereas this other bunch of species,
Mm-hmm.
may give you a lot of leniency in what you
Mm-hmm.
can actually, price your crop because, it took so much less resources. So I eventually decided I could probably grow every agave type, like in greenhouses and all of that. But there's so many that are just perfect without a lot of work from me, and they are very productive. So I think people are going to realize that for themselves too, by
I, w-
trying
I was
different species. Yeah,
I was thinking, Steve, that for me, I'm not sure if this is a good comparison, but kind of being in a very demanding relationship versus someone that is getting along way better.
yeah,
Some of the agaves, like, I mean, you are stretching out not only economical resources, time resources, you're gonna be
yeah,
stretching out your knowledge.
Tell you the biggest one is the property tax, right? It's like they're going to be paying in many cases 5 to 7 years of property taxes on lots that are really expensive without seeing any profit. I tell people they just have to be really knowledgeable about where their crop is going to grow. That's like the best thing you could do as a farmer, because then you won't get caught upside, down when there's market fluctuations. So the people that do well that I've seen in Mexico or in Africa, whatever, is usually people that are able to have great relationships with the end product. So if it's going into clothes or it's going into energy or spirits, they have a direct relationship with those people for way before they need any of that plant to be harvested. So you got to make some friends, if you're an agave farmer.
I was also thinking, Jesse quoting Ana Valenzuela, that we were discussing that she was saying that she has been drinking some, how do you say, mecate mezcales, or because some of the varieties are more for fiber, but then people
Yeah.
decide to do it, and she was like, "Whoa, like okay,
No,
sure,
yeah,
you
they're
can
very
you can
different.
distill it." Yes, but she was, and this is important. So I think there are many things that are really important, Steve. One, people deciding to actually plant and doing the leap of faith to, okay, I'm going to plant agaves. I think that's an important step. But then the other one, what you're saying, that I'm not sure if it is perseverance, discipline, stubbornness, knucklehead, you name it,
Yeah,
to go all the way to the end. And then once they are in the end, um, well,
because you
having the
have a
relationship
finite
with that end product.
timeline. Yeah, like it's a good thing that like we have a lot of people, in the California Agave Alliance, and in California that have family in Mexico, because
Hmm.
I think there's a lot to learn from the Mexican industry, and a lot of the lessons we may want to avoid in California.
Hmm.
But I tell people, I'm like, today there's thousands of agave farmers in Mexico that can't sell their agave, right? And they are great farmers. It's not that they didn't grow the agave right, but they didn't have a place to put it. And unfortunately, it's going to try to bloom, and the months start creeping down of when you can get that plant out your field, right? So uh, you really, like I said, have to know where it's gonna go into, and that's why I tell people experiment early, right? Like if you're
Hmm.
farming agave, you should be trying to see if any mature agave are in your area that you may want to ask people for to just utilize. Like try to make spirits or whatever product you want out of it without having to wait all the way till the end to see what you might do with it, right? Because if in year 3 with just 2, 3 agaves, you might, you know, say you really wanted to make some type of agave paper and you made agave paper and you see that's a great product for you, then great. At the end, all of your agave could go straight into this. But, some of those things that people are maybe, I would say, fantasizing about of products they want to make, you know, they're really just theory until you make the product, right?
Hmm.
So in my case, I'm really trying to utilize the plants prior to me having a significant crop.
Yeah, and I mean, Katie is joining us from Rivery Ranch, and I mean, she's planting many of the agaves in her property. I think they just finished their first batch of agave spirits this year. It was this year or last year, and she was showcasing it in some others. Hi,
Hey,
and
Katie. Yeah, they have a bunch of them now. I think they're paving a great example for what to do with
yeah.
agave, right? Because it's trying to utilize everything that's around you and not
Hmm.
settling on one model, right? Like um, kind of going back to what you were mentioning about Ana Valenzuela, I would
Uh-huh.
probably debate that a lot of those fiber agaves just have not been distilled by the right distiller. because me personally, I've distilled almost 4 dozen type of agaves, and every single one has shown me so much that it's completely like nothing like the other one. You know, like in many cases, I almost blew up my still because a lot of these agaves are very, uh, they can be very saponin rich, and it creates pressure in your stills. But the point being that I think that's more due to inexperience, people not distilling them as often, right? So
And you know
it
what?
takes the right person to make a great spirit, and it's not just, oh, I'm gonna get this random agave that nobody knows about and distill it, and it's gonna be great. Like it, most of the times if they're not a good distiller, it's not gonna be anything close to good. Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out again for Katie and Giver Spirits. So I'm just kind of seeing here that they just got their inaugural batch from Susana Calderon and Jordi Rigliano on their first batch of agave spirits there. So anyway, that was super cool. Desmentiana and Tequilana spirits this spring. So Katie, I'm feeling a little thirsty. Just in just in case. Well, but Steve, going back, and I want to ask Jessie on the idea of her distillate that she has from Salmiana.
Yeah, we need
Oh
to
yeah,
bring some of that here
yeah.
because the Californians need to start thinking like that, man. Everybody's talking about spirits, but I'm a pulquero, and I'm like, I
I
need this stuff.
know, I know,
I
and
Yeah,
need
I
Yessie to
know.
import like all of it.
Yeah.
I know I'm also pulquero. But the point is that so a lot of these things, it also goes back to our culture because I'm thinking, like, for instance, I grew up drinking more than my fair share of tequila, which I think is super cool.
Yeah,
Not on the mezcal side. I know people grew in the mezcal side. And then Jesse comes with some of the pulque
Yeah.
and pulque distillate. I know. But the point is that I have to say that once you have tested Jesse's distillate, then tequila is no good. So anyway,
yeah.
I know, Jesse, would you mind? How did it come
I
your
know.
idea for that?
On, I think that we need to be prepared for the new profile that we will obtain in California. Because that is very good point is that the many growers in California are trying to discover new plants, not only tequilana, not only angustifolia, but also other ones. And and I think that I don't know, actually we have some, like for example, with Katie Harrison and another agave spirits that we have right now. But I think that in 2 or 3 more years, we need to be prepared for new profiles of agave spirits. And we obtain very different textures. And that
Hmm.
is amazing because, the climate is different, the soil is different,
Hmm.
and yeah, we need to be very healthy in the stomach with the stomach because we need to try all the different agave spirits that California produce in the future.
And Jesse, what about the pulque? Because I mean, pulque is, I mean, that elixir from the
It's gonna be
gods.
a freaking
Yeah,
gray area, man. Because in Mexico, it's like you could, the best pulque you can only find on farms. But I don't know how, California will be, how chill they'll be with people rolling up to your farm to drink pulque. There's a lot of regulation. I think that might affect that, but um, I think pulque distillate opens the door to allowing people to try a lot of that flavor because it's more of a stable thing that you can take out of the farm and put in a bunch of different areas, and it's similar concept, right? Like the pulque you can have going for several months, and you could be getting your liter every day or two, and still distilling that into a distillate, right? So even if people can't consume pulque, I think maybe readily, they're definitely going to have pulque distillate, I feel like, on their radar pretty soon, because I think it's a wonderful spirit. I think tequila is amazing in mezcal as well, and raicilla and bacanora, but they're very strong spirits. Whereas the aguamiel spirit, you can sip on, for a little longer without getting drunk. That's why I like it.
Yeah, it's very different because the way that we obtain the agave spirit from pulque, it's totally different. It's not too smoky like tequila or mezcal. It's more sweety. It's more sweety.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet. And for example, in my case, I like to mock because it's very I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's very sweet for your mouth. You feel a very good sensation, not like other spirits, like you say, oh my God, only I need to be very prepared for other agave spirits. But in this case, with agave spirits from pulque, you can try it derecho without any problems, straight with any
It doesn't
any
really have
problem.
a burn at all for me. That's why I like it too. It doesn't have a strong aftertaste.
Yeah. And the other one is that is more eco-friendly. We need to talk about different profiles and different ways to produce the agave spirits, because I think that sometimes I love the pulque because it's very noble. It's very noble beverage, and for that reasons I want to. A lot of people tried to drink more pulque because also is very healthy. And but also the most pulqueros agave that we need to that we have, you can obtain fibers and other byproducts, and it's incredible. But yeah, we need to prepare one session about how to obtain these products from pulque, because is cheaper than the other one. Maybe you can try. You need more time, maybe 2 or 3 more times than the other species, but the benefits are multiple.
Yeah, it has a lot more
Yes.
medicinal benefits, and I think also economically, as we were mentioning, in agave spirit, you're really only going to get that one use out of that agave, right? But a pulquero agave, like I mentioned, you can be making products from it every day for months. So it's
Jesse,
I think something that's going to provide a lot more economic potential for the farmers too. Yeah.
sorry, Jesse, they are asking
What's up?
us, Sabio Agave is asking us for a
What do you
native
ask?
California species. So I just put it in
I
there,
can answer it.
Americana utahensis. Go ahead.
Well, it's Americana is native to Texas. It's naturalized in California, so it's not native
Okay.
here. But it's native to the U.S. as well as
Uh-huh.
Mexico, right? But the
Okay.
most common place it is Texas, and it's pretty much naturalized from California down to Florida and a lot of other states. But the 6 that we have that are native here are going to be 3 Agave utahensis, which are Agave utahensis utahensis, or subspecies utahensis, as well as subspecies Iborospina and subspecies nevadensis. There's a 4th Agave utahensis, but it's not native to California, but it's native to the U.S. So there's 3 utahensises, and then there's an Agave Shawi, subspecies Shawi, which is native to Southern California, from San Diego to LA, and it's pretty endangered at the moment. But there's another Agave Shawi, but that one's native to Baja California. So Shawi, subspecies Shawi, takes us up to 4, and then you have 3 native Agave Deserti species. So I guess it's 7. And that would be Agave Deserti, subspecies Deserti. Yeah, and then you have subspecies Simplex, and I think the other subspecies is Pringley. And all 3 of those are native to California as well. So we got 7 of them that are native here, but there's probably close to, I think, 3 or 4 dozen that are native to the USA. So there's a lot of selection for people to try that are really hardy species here. And what Hayden said, Caipensis, that's the largest Agave utahensis, but it's not native to California, but it's a great one to grow here as well. That there should be more people growing it, because a lot of those are under threat. So farmers could be a huge help in bringing up the populations of our native agave. And that's why I try to tell everyone to grow California natives, because we need more of them. But it's going to be hard to utilize them for an industry without massive propagation of them. I try to tell people what the model that I'd love to copy for like Shawi or Utahensis or whatever is starting millions by seed in the model that they did with golden barrel cactus, which was a crop that was getting close to endangerment in Mexico, and the California nurseries started growing it by the millions, tens of millions by seed. So now you walk into any nursery in California or the United States and they have a golden barrel cactus. But that's how common Agave Shawi or Utahensis or Deserti should be. But it's going to take more than me growing it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work that we need to do in order to disseminate with different nurseries that they reproduce these agave species, because it's very difficult to find them. Yeah, and yeah, we need to work in that way. Yeah, because it's very important. But talking about the new flavors in agave spirits that we will obtain in California, is, for example, that we have new flavors for example, with agave desmetiana, with agave morphe, with agave webery, with new ensembles that the people are produced, and with the different climate, with the different regimens of rains, and with the different soils, I think that is very interesting. That new world about agave spirits.
That's what I was mentioning to Sam the other day, or I think everybody I mentioned in the email that we were having, that I think California would benefit from, if the agave industry starts developing more, having an AVA model, how the wine industry has, because every single region is so different in California. We have like dozens of different type of ecosystems. So every farm that I've seen is, even if you say, oh, all these guys are in the desert, they're in way different portions of the desert. So each one of those, I think, will start, if there's enough people in a region developing their own identity, kind of how Napa Valley did with the grapes, right? And I think probably the first one of that's going to be the Central Valley, because there's so many of the farmers there at the moment.
But I think that, yes, I do agree that the different climatic, biophysical regions will kind of move us into that. I think so. Having the species that are native, some of those that have been well adapted here, I think that will also provide. And then, of course, I always say
they're all
that
great agaves. Like, yes. I mean, I tell people, I'm like, you may need a little bit more of Agave Utahensis or Agave Shawi to produce some spirits, in numbers that people are used to. but they're also a way more unique spirit. So you can demand way better prices, and you can have an easier time selling it. So I think a lot of these agaves are great to utilize that are here in California. But it's like I mentioned, we just got to grow more of them so that people can use them without feeling that they're contributing to its destruction or whatever, right? Because we don't want to get to a point where a lot of the agave are I think endangered in regions where they're producing mezcal because they're overutilizing it, right? Unfortunately, for whatever reason,
And we have
and we
there,
don't want to do that with our own agave too here. So
yeah, yeah. And which ones have been well adapted? So I mean, again, Utahensis,
a lot
definitely.
of them, yeah.
Shawi. I think Salmiana. Salmiana
Yeah,
is
Salmiano's one of the strongest ones for
Yeah,
California.
and we have,
a
for example, in Davis, in the campus, and near of Sacramento, we have a lot of mapizaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people are produce pulque actually in that area, and that plants are growing very well, without any agricultural management, with a lot of hijuelos, and
I see. Oof.
and the other
Yeah.
one is agave americana. Agave americana, we have a lot of subspecies of agave americana.
Yeah, I think it's an
But
underrated one. I mean, I alone have 12 of them. It's like people are hybridizing and creating new cultivars of Americana all the time. And each one of them is so drastically different that, but also similar on flavors, right? They may grow drastically different. So, it's definitely one I think we're underutilizing just because it's one of the best growing ones here, too. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Salmiana is not endemic to California, but for example, in San Marino Garden, we can find a lot of agave Salmiana with very good condition of adaptation. And in a lot of different points of California, I found a lot of agave Salmianas and agaves mapizagas that I
Yeah, in
grow.
some regions it's
Yeah,
naturalized, like LA or San Francisco. Like, I feel like it's escaped a lot of the gardens. Like a lot of these agaves, like Americana and Salmiana, they were really popular even in the 1800s to be putting in the gardens, in California as urban areas. So a lot of them for generations have been escaping. It's like if they planted an agave in a garden, it can, within a few generations, be miles and miles away from its original area.
yeah, yeah. Sabio Agave is asking about how to obtain the seeds from Salmiana, from agave Salmiana. And we have one of the most important people that collect seeds in California, Steve. Steve Sanchez, would you want to
Yeah,
say something about this topic?
sure. Yeah, well, hopefully they're not importing them because, I think a huge part of the California Agave Alliance has been trying to, promote stuff from our own industry here.
Mhm.
So a lot of the initial Salmiana plants that I got them through gardens, and when
Mhm.
they were maturing, then we distill them or cook them, eat them, and whenever they had stalks that had seeds, we collect those and propagate from that. So I think that's a lot of a much better, than, for instance, I know a lot of people import seed from Mexico or from Europe. Um, well, not a lot, but I know some people that do it. And the problem with that is that a lot of those agaves aren't going to be directly adapted here. So as I was
Mhm.
mentioning, Salmiana's probably been in the LA area for 200-300 years already. So it's literally grown for generation after generation here and adapted itself.
Mhm.
Kind of, much like an immigrant, like we've come to America and adapted ourselves to be here, right? So I think a lot of these Salmianas are more American than me. They've been here like 20 generations. But that's important genetically because it's already accustomed to our cold, our heat, our winds, a lot of our climates. So a lot of the times what I see with imported plants is they have a really tough time acclimatizing here. So it's people have to overwater them or over care for them, which is a huge problem because we're trying to plant more agave that don't require resources like from our aquifers or resources like fertilizers, right?
Yeah. Okay, my friends, we have yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So okay, my friends, I'm sorry, I really need to go. There is
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Thank you. Thank you.
no, thanks for
I can
joining. And
answer
I'm
this.
seeing
Yeah,
all the people there. So I'm taking off. Thanks everyone. Look at that. Have a
Thank
lot of good
you.
people
Thank
here.
you. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, all the
yeah,
people that come in today. Thank you
And
so much. And
one
we,
other thing that we can do at some point, I think let's have these conversations. We can coordinate with the Cali Agave and the Alliance Instagram. We'll figure out. Don't worry. But I think this is a good conversation. I think at some point we also need to bring our other growers friends that they were joining. So I
yeah.
think it will be good to have this. This is super nice. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely I do have to go.
Me
I think.
too.
Yeah, nice seeing y'all. I'll answer that last question real quick, just before we go. That they were saying that Salmiana is illegal to import to the USA.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, there's people doing it legally, importing it from different
Mhm.
countries all over the world. So maybe Mexico has some tougher restrictions, but it's definitely being imported from mostly Europe at this point, I'd say. There's a lot of growers in Europe that are growing it in mass scale, importing it to the U.S. But again, that's a huge issue genetically because we're not going to have great success with those plants. But yeah, that's as far as I know.
Yeah. It's possible. They need to accomplish
Mhm.
the rules. The more important is the
Yeah,
phytosanitary
the phytosanitary.
condition. Yeah, it's possible, but yeah, it's controversial, and we need to talk about in the future about this. That
Yeah.
topic. Okay.
All
So
right.
thank you
Well, I'll
so
catch
much.
you guys later. Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming
see
on,
Thanks.
hopping
you.
on. Hopefully we get Rick
Thanks,
Bye.
on
Steve.
next time. Yeah. Have a
Thank
good one.
you. Thank
Bye.
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Have a good one. Bye.